Hello my friends, welcome to Woodsheddin with Arlo. I am so glad you stopped by today. Hey, you may have seen my last video. It was on the George Lynch speaker cab IRs that Two Notes Audio just put out. I had a lot of fun messing around with those on my new song that I'm working on. Two Notes actually saw the video, put it on their Facebook company page. Thanks so much for doing that, Two Notes. So I saw they had some more cabs coming out, and I thought, I wonder if I can get my hands on those a little early. So I reached out to the folks at Two Notes and said, I'd love to try out what you got coming next. And they said, absolutely, Arlo. So they hooked me up with the cabs. They're from Phil X. Legendary session guitar players, worked with Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Bon Jovi, and a bunch more. Another tone chaser like George Lynch. So I was really excited to get to mess around with these. So that's what we're going to do today. So you're going to want to stick around. Alright, welcome back to Woodsheddin with Arlo. I am Arlo. I am so glad you're here today. Hey, if you're new to the channel, I'm doing home demos here, getting ready to go into the recording studio here in 4 short weeks. Flying out to Los Angeles, going to record at Sunset Sound Studio, where Zeppelin recorded, and the Stones, and Van Halen did like 5 albums there. So it's going to be fun. We're going to do some, going to record some music of my own. And they're going to do some video of me just working in the studio through the day, and going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you hit the subscribe button here, hit the little bell, because I'll be doing more updates as we get closer to that. You can also go to my reward music website, which I'll have a link below, and that tells you a lot more about who I am, why I'm flying to LA. Yeah, so got some more cabs from Two Notes. Really excited. I just did the video on the George Lynch ones that came out. I'm a huge George Lynch fan, so that was like more than fantastic. We got those. And I kind of started talking to some of the folks at Two Notes there, and they were nice enough to hook me up with these new ones from Phil X. And I was really excited when I heard it was Phil next, because I've been following him for a while, and I watch a ton of his videos on YouTube because he's always showing you stuff in the studio, him at home, him playing with his bands. There's rig rundowns. And he uses a lot of different amps. He's a tone chaser like George. And the other thing I like with Phil too, he's just super upbeat guy, like always super positive, nice guy. And I'll tell you how nice he really is. So I got these cabs, I sent them over, and then I was going through them, and I was struggling a little bit trying to figure out exactly sonically what I'm listening to. In particular, the Marshall cabs. I want to know between the 212 and the 412, like, what are we getting here? And I could kind of hear some things, but so I shot Phil a message through a social media thing, and shortly after that, I got a reply. And I asked him, what's the difference with the 212, 412, and he said sonically, it's just a different mid-range. The air's going to push different with them. And then, the 212's got 65 watt speakers, and the 412's got the 75 watt. And the 65 and the 212's, it's just a more aggressive push to them, more aggressive sound. And once he said that to me, that's kind of brought it all together for me there. And the other thing, I think I saw in another video, he was talking about the 75 watters. They have like less of this farting low end sound that they get sometimes in those 412 cabs, and he likes that to be a lot tighter. So I think that's why he's using the 75 watters in the 412. So thanks, Phil, for all that. I appreciate you. Then the next day he posted something on Instagram, and I was like, hey, thanks, Phil, for the cabs, but it kept me up half the night, and he's like, oh, is that a good or a bad thing? And I was like, it's a good thing. I was having a lot of fun. So, all right. So Phil's a great guy. Super excited about these cabs because, again, the same thing with George. George gave us a couple different cabs that are really different. And what's great with them is when you start to blend the cabs together, different microphones together, and you can really create this kind of full picture sonically, Some of them are better in the low end. Some are better in the mid-range. Some wrap around a little, some of the other ones a little better. So that's what I really like with this artist collection stuff. They're giving us some really unique cabs like the MLC one, which we're going to talk about. I never even heard of that company. until now, and just some cool stuff. So let's get in here and listen to it. I got it on the song we listened to in the George Lynch song last time, the George Lynch cabs, excuse me. It's the song I'm working on now for my Sunset Sound session. So we're just going to play through this a little bit. And what I did on the George videos is I tried to use the same microphone the whole way through. So we're going to try to stay on 57s here so we can kind of hear a little bit of the differences between the cabs. So let's listen to that 212. Again, this is 65 waters. It's supposed to be a lot more aggressive punch to them. So let's take a little listen and see how these sound. All right, now let's flip it on over to the 412 cab. And this will have the 75 waters. Now let's just see how this sounds. Again, we got 57s rolling. Yeah, a little more bottom end in that, but like Phil says, it doesn't have that farting kind of that he says. Sometimes I hear him say he doesn't like it when it gets real spongy down there, and that's where that I think why the 75 waters just sounds a lot tighter. I saw in one video when I was researching these is one thing, you know, for Phil, his ideal sound, he said, is he likes that Malcolm Young rhythm guitar, and then he likes to be able to get or set like that. And then he can use a pedal to get him into like Eddie Van Halen world, you know. So he likes to have that real thick, tight, you know, what Malcolm used to do, which is, don't we all? So that's the 212, 412. I really like those. Now I think these would be good ones. You can kind of combine these. So if you want to get that kind of aggressive push with the 212 and then use the 412 on the other one, and then you can play around with the mics to kind of make that real full Marshall sound. So I dig that. Let's check out the next cab here. This one I didn't really know a lot about either, and I kind of knew what it was, but then once I started digging, it was pretty interesting. So this is the Master of Tone, which is it's after a Tonemaster custom 214. Now there's a video, and I'll try to remember put this down there of Phil playing. He has this old Tonemaster, real old beat up, and then I guess he came out with his own version of it called the Phil X Tone Monster. So there's the Tonemaster, that's the old one. Tonemaster's a newer one, and in the video, he's kind of going back and forth with him. And at one point he was playing Funk 49, the James Gang, the Joe Walsh. So he's playing that, and man, it sounded like fantastic. It had a lot of character to it, and I saw another video, and he was in the studio, and he had like 6-7 different amps set up or whatever, but this was the one he talked about a lot that he really loves. So let's check out how this sounds, again with the 57 on it. Yeah, it just has a very unique, crunchy character to it. I'm going to be messing with this one a good bit, I think. So let's go next up. We're going to go back to another 412 cab. And this was the one I didn't know was this MLC, which is the Mark L Custom. The fellow's name is actually Marek Laskowski. He's out in Poland, Gdansk, Poland, I think is where they're based at. And from what I read about him, it looked like he was modifying amplifiers, and then it turned into him making his own. And then I got on his artists, the artists he works with, and it's like working with Phil. He works with Steve Vai some, and Steve Lukather, and John Petrucci, and then like a whole ton of European guitar players that I didn't know a lot of them. But so he had a pretty big list of folks there, and so let's just take a little listen to this this 412 cab. So So that has a really lot of body girth to it, a lot of weight. So this is going to be a good one to pair up maybe with the 212 that gets a little more aggressive. That might be kind of cool. Before we do any of that, let's go to this last one here. And this is the one, this is Phil's secret weapon. He did a really good video on this one with Mitch Gallagher at Sweetwater. And in the video, Phil, I guess I saw him, he was playing with the band that he had there. They played a little bit. And then he started talking about his setup. And it was basically this, it was like a 5-watt amp. And this is a 1/8-inch speaker cab. And he had that sitting on top of a 100-watt Supro. And then that was going into a Friedman 412 cab. And the way I kind of gathered that Phil was explaining this was he likes this Supro because it just has this huge monster sound for how little it is. And he can get like wicked crazy sustain with it. The bottom end is super tight. Doesn't get spongy like we were talking about. He doesn't like the sponge in the bottom. And he likes this because he kind of wraps around, gives like the girth and the body to like the other amp, like the one that's kind of being more aggressive in the punch. This one just kind of wraps around, holds the whole sound together. So let's take a listen to this with the 57. Yeah, you can feel that. That's got all that bottom end, but it's really tight. It's not like getting all lost in the ether there, you know. So I think that's going to be a really cool one to mess around with, to kind of get around some of these other amps. So let's try that. We're going to leave that here. We'll turn off the link here and we'll put in a different cab here. So let's mess around. Let's go back to that Marshall 412. And we're going to leave a 57 on that one. Let's maybe go to the Ribbon 121. And this is something too, you know, Phil's had a ton of different mics, but a lot of times I think he likes this, the 57 with the 121, you know, set up. The 57 gets that real punch, and then the Ribbon kind of gives some of that little, the lower, it's a little less gnarly. So let's take a listen to that with the 412 and 57, and then we got the Supro with the 121. Yeah, I dig that. I think that sounds really good. I think that's going to be a really, like he was saying, a secret weapon, you know. Because I don't think I have, if I go through my cabs here, I don't have another Supro in here. No, I don't think so. That's my only 8-inch one that I use. You know, ones I use a lot is like some of those Princeton ones. I like those, like the smaller 112. I have a 110 here. It's that silver 10. I use that a lot. That's a pretty nice amp. But I think the Supro, that's going to find its way onto this song. I'm going to be using that a bunch, I think. And I might just use it on both left and right guitars and just pair it with a different 412 cab on each one. Well, that's all for now. I gotta get back to work. I really wasn't planning on doing another video here this week. I really got to get this song done because I'm running out of time. We're flying to LA 4 weeks, and I got lots to do before then. So yeah, so hit the subscribe, YouTube subscribe, hit the little bell, and I'm going to be using these cabs a lot more. Maybe once I get them set up in here in another video, either on my Sunday Jam video or another Woodsheddin with Arlo, I'll let you hear how all this wound up. We'll kind of play through it. But love it. Phil X, George Lynch. I said to the fellas at 2 Notes, it's like Christmas in July. So thanks, guys, for all this. I'm going to get back at it. Hey, I hope you guys get to play some guitar today. Take care now. Bye-bye.